Hey guys, Francis here. Hey there, Jim out with Exalted Big Athletics, and today we're going to be doing a back to basics on bench press. So we started this video by doing some progressions and variations of a push-up and how to work your way up into actually doing a bench press. And then we do some progressions that will involve more barbells, dumbbells, and a finish off with talking about close grip bench pressing, when to use that, and how that can be beneficial for people that have some shoulder issues. Hope you guys enjoy. So we're going to start off this video by talking about the mechanics of a push-up. So that's going to be our progressions when we talk about getting and working up to a barbell bench press or dumbbell bench press. So push-up, big things here is you don't want to pike up your hips. And by that I mean you don't want your butt up hanging in the air and shaking around. Mind you shouldn't shake push-ups, but anyways. So don't put your butt up in the air. Next thing, do not flare your elbows. So by that I mean your elbows should not be like this. You don't have chicken wings. You want to be able to use your chest, your shoulders, and your tricep. And by here, you're putting your shoulder in a very awkward position. And additionally, it just makes the whole entire movement really hard and really complicated. And then it promotes piking up your butt. Boom, right there. So first progression is going to be a barbell push-up. So the nice thing about this is that we can elevate and decrease the height of the barbell depending on your strength. So if you struggle with doing push-ups, you don't have as much upper body strength, you can have that barbell a lot higher, and then you can slowly decrease the height and go to your strengths and just keep challenging yourself. That way you're slowly going down to the point where you can either go ahead, do push-ups on the floor on your knees, or do push-ups on your toes, which are going to be the next two progressions that we're talking about.
Alright, so next Jermaine is going to demonstrate doing the decline push-up from a barbell. Right, so he's going to find about a little bit outside of shoulder width grip, and he is going to straighten out his back, his glutes, and his legs such that he moves in one straight line. And he's going to tuck his elbows on the way down, not going to flare them out. Once he gets close to the bar, touches his chest, he's going to exhale and come back up. Inhaling on the way down, touches his chest to the bar, and exhaling on the way up. Again, his elbows are tucked and they're not flaring. Barbell. So now Jermaine is going to demonstrate a push-up from the knees and a regular push-up. So starting from the knees, again, really want to keep that the leg all the way up to the glute and throughout the lower and upper back in a straight line. We really don't want to flare the butt out or poke the butt out, whatever you want to call it. Jermaine is finding about a little past the shoulder with hand placement on the floor. He is going to take a breath in and come down, tuck his elbows, touch his chest to the floor, exhale, and come back up.
You don't technically have to touch, but get close.
Right. Right. So get as close as is comfortable. And for a front angle, this is what that will look like.
Now, when you have enough strength, you can go ahead and progress on your toes. Same exact thing, but as push-up progressions.
So just to give you guys a good visual here, we're going to show you a nice side angle so you can see that kind of J pattern that the bar is taking. So you notice when Jermaine has the bar locked out in front of him, the bar is over his shoulders essentially. And at the very bottom of the movement, however, the bar is over the lower chest, right under the nipples. This is going to provide the safest bar path for not only his shoulders, but it's also going to allow you to recruit those chest muscles.
Alright, so next thing is dumbbell bench press. I wouldn't necessarily call this so much progression as a slightly different variation of a bench press. Because I'm using dumbbells, I have to stabilize more throughout my shoulders.
So again, like the barbell variation, Jermaine is going to retract his scapula before he lays it back. And what you're going to notice is instead of having his hands completely pronated, there's a slight rotation that Jermaine has. That's just kind of naturally where the dumbbells are going to fall for most people. So we do recommend just, again, slightly supinating your hands.
That's going to pinkies down.
Yes, drop your pinkies down. And that's going to allow you to tuck your elbows a little bit easier and get a better bar path. So again, you can see we have that J-like bar path going on here where the dumbbells are touching around Jermaine's nipple to lower chest area. And at the top, when he locks out, they're above his shoulders.
Dumbbell bench press. So next variation of a bench press is going to be a close grip bench press. This is really nice if you ever have any shoulder issues, shoulder impingements, because by decreasing the flare of your elbows, essentially keeping your elbows close to your rib cage, you're able to decrease the amount of shoulder utilization that you're using, which obviously means you're not able to push as much, but you are saving your shoulder any additional discomfort that you don't want to, and be able to utilize bench pressing. So placement-wise, easiest thing to do is start with your hands right outside of your legs, and you'll come straight up to the bar. So right here, I'm going exactly shoulder width apart, and that is exactly where I'm going to grab. And that is the best way to find where you need to grab on a close grip bench press, because if you try to go here, what happens if you go too close is you put a really lot of nasty load on your wrists, and it makes the entire movement super uncomfortable. I remember when I first started close grip bench pressing, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, put your hands together. It hurts so bad.
We all did, yeah.
My hands, like my wrists were just like, this sucks. But yeah, learn the hard way. Right there, shoulder width apart. Easiest thing, and then you unload it. Same exact movement, but the path of the barbell is going to go even lower than a regular bench press. So even lower, so kind of like really bottom of your chest, below your chest, or like top of your rib cage. Easiest place. And then other than that, bar path, same thing, everything's the same, other than your hand placement and the bar path a bit lower.
So just to summarize some of the topics that we touched on, again, we started off with a declined push-up on a barbell. Essentially what you're going to want to do is try to keep your entire body from your calves all the way up to your upper back completely straight as you come down with a slightly more than shoulder width grip, tucking your elbows in, and essentially come down till you feel a nice stretch in your chest. You don't necessarily have to touch the bar of your chest, but we do kind of want to be close there. Moving on from there, we talked about doing a push-ups. For those of you, we talked about doing push-ups. For those of you who may have a weak core starting out, you may start with push-ups on your knees, which is perfectly fine. Again, we want to keep that entire body flat throughout the entire movement so that you move as one efficient unit. And then we moved on to the regular push-up, which again is just on your toes. From there, we touched on the barbell bench press, which is kind of the king of all upper body exercises according to most individuals. Essentially, again, we're grabbing slightly outside of shoulder width grip. The main difference between the bench press and the push-up is we are trying to keep that scapula retracted throughout the entire movement. So you want to keep those shoulder blades back the entire time while you are pressing. You're going to breathe in when you come down, touch the bar to your lower chest or right below the nipples, and breathe out as you lock out the weight, and the bar should be right over your shoulders, giving you somewhat of a J bar path. Moving on from there, we talked about the dumbbell bench press. Main difference with the dumbbell bench press is there's a lot more stabilization that goes on because you are moving two individual weights. Essentially, placement-wise, the bar path is going to be pretty much the same. However, you are going to be slightly more supinated, letting your natural shoulder rotation occur. Don't try to force anything. And that's going to allow you to tuck your elbows even a bit easier and have a safer bar path or safer dumbbell path, and it's going to engage your chest a little bit better than flaring your elbows out and possibly injuring your shoulders.
Yeah, so the next thing we talked about was the close grip bench press. So as Clarence was talking about hurting your shoulders. So if you do have shoulder injuries, if you do have kind of a nagging shoulder discomfort, using a close grip bench press is very useful. Biggest thing on placement is hands right there, shoulder width apart. That's where you want to place them. Nothing like this because it'll hurt your wrists. Like Prince and I both had some pretty uncomfortable experiences with. But placement and positioning, so the bar path is going to be just slightly different. So by that I mean it goes from in line with your shoulders to just below about nipple length, the bottom of your chest, top of your rib cage. And that is really the biggest difference with the path of it. Next thing is you want to make sure you keep your elbows tucked in as much as possible. By that I mean you don't want to have your elbows flaring out because that will engage that shoulder a bit more and bring that discomfort back. So I hope you guys enjoyed our back to basics bench pressing video. If you look down the description below, we'll have a link to our blog post that will have a link also to downloading our free 6-pack abs guide. You guys give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed.